I'm Matt Buell with M Buell Studio, and on behalf of the Woodworking Network, it's monthly topic time. So this month, wanted to keep it really simple. You know, you're a new upstart woodworking business, and we're going to talk about something that is inevitable. How to get your first job. You know, you're going to have to figure out how to get work in. You got to start somewhere. First job sounds like a good idea. So most people don't know you exist or that you even plan on existing. So we're going to talk about three major approaches that I take to getting jobs that apply really well to getting your first job. So my first method is called accessing the people you already know. So when you're starting a business out, the number one thing, especially as a woodworker, that you're going to have to build up is a rapport and trust. Because most of the time you're marketing a product that doesn't even exist so that you can build. So people you already know just in life, they already know you. So there's already some existing rapport and trust. So that's a great way to look for getting your first job, because you're not cold calling people you've never met. My first job came down that way. It was actually through a friend of my family's who owned a rental business, and they did a bunch of events and stuff, and they commissioned me to build 20 very customized chairs for a wedding. So that was a great job, and that was a way to get me kind of moving. And also, worth noting, side note, any of your friends that you know that are business owners, like restaurants, offices, amazing contacts to reach out to. Commercial accounts in the early days can be really helpful for increasing your cash flow and helping you pay off some stuff quicker, okay? So we got to access people we know. Get on your phone or your text, email. Just politely reach out. Say, hey, I just want to let you know I'm getting started doing this. Let them know you exist so that you plan on it. A fantastic reservoir of potential jobs, people you know. The second approach that I suggest for getting that first job and other jobs is networking. This is a skill set that is used by most successful business owners. You got to get out of the house. Now, where you're going to go and who you want to be around is going to depend a lot on what are you making? Who's your target audience? Go where they go. Other good places to just get out to would be business luncheons. I'd check with your Chamber of Commerce maybe. Large social gatherings, although I do not recommend loud live music for that, as much as I love loud music. It's hard to talk to people. Just larger gatherings with people. And then charity auctions and fundraisers. Fantastic place to network. Sidebar on that. Build a piece for a charity auction. It's a good idea. It's the right thing to do, and it puts your work in front of people where they can touch it, they can see it, the quality can be observed. We're building trust here, right? So you need people talking about how nice your stuff is. I have found charity auctions be really good for my business, but also good in helping others. I'm in office mode. Can you guess what my third approach is? Social media. Look, one of my favorite things about my job is that I don't sit at a desk all day. But one thing I've learned is I'm still going to have to do a little bit of desk work to keep me from going back to doing all-day desk work. Social media is clearly and obviously the easy choice that most people are going to these days. It allows you to reach thousands, if not hundreds of thousands. But for your first job, you might reach 100,000 people with a post and only get one inquiry. The numbers don't always translate to sales. Do I think it's a good thing to have some social media marketing? You bet. And do I think it can get you your first job? You bet. But you got to remember, this is a more impersonal approach. And so in building trust with people, you know, you're marketing pictures to them. And a lot of what comes with woodworking and furniture work and cabinetry is the feel. All right. It's a great thing to utilize, but you're going to have to post often. These days, most companies have a person that is pretty much their job to deal with social media. That's their job. So if you're a small shop or a solo operator like I am, that's taking on another role. And it's doable, I found, especially in the earlier years, I had to have better time management skills, and I had to set aside a specific time of day every day to sit down and look at what I'm working on for social media or getting stuff up. What I found helped me the most was creating a delay. So I take shots of what I'm working on or whatever, but I don't feel like I have to post it that day. I just don't like being a slave to that. You know, I answer to my clients in my checkbook. So on a 2 or 3 day delay, it allowed me to control kind of how woodworking needed to flow in the pictures. If you're gonna do some social media, be warned, there's a good chunk of legwork you gotta do. You've gotta get your Facebooks and your Instagrams, you're gonna have to get a website sorted out. You know, you gotta have somewhere to send people for purchase, okay? It is some commitment. Is it worth it? Sure, I found it to be. It's also a great way to try and get your first job. I'm gonna offer a little tidbit of advice here. You're gonna probably wanna put a little cash aside to go ahead and promote some of your posts on these social media feeds. The reason is it's gonna push you in front of people who aren't paying, okay? And I don't like it, but that's how this works these days. You're gonna have to post all the time for the algorithm to even pick you up and keep honoring you when you post that it gets in a feed in front of people. But buying a few ads here and there wouldn't hurt either, because it steps right in place of people who aren't paying and replaces them in the feed. Or if they're buying ads, you're gonna have to spend more money. That replaces them in the feed. Anyway, it's worth a shot. And I think it's also a really great way of trying to get your first job, but also just continually getting jobs. All right, let's get serious. Here's another thing. So all of these are really you trying to get your foot in the door, right? To get people to know you exist. Something else that is worth considering is your pricing. Now, I'm not doing a video right now on pricing, especially because I don't even know what you're making. However, it is sometimes useful in the first couple of years to be a little extra competitive with your pricing because you're hungry and you want to get some work in people's homes or in their businesses. And sometimes getting that job means coming in a little under somebody else. Welcome to a competitive market. This is not a long-term recommendation. Not a good way to float. But just to get out there and start building some trust and get your work in front of people, it's not a bad thing. Now, obviously, don't work for free. There's no point. But, you know, competitively under. So I hope that some of these little tactical methods I've given you might prove useful to getting that first job or getting jobs, plural. All of these are ones that I would absolutely utilize trying to get my first job, and they're ones I still utilize to keep work coming in, all right? Because the long-term goal here is success. See you next month.